Oh, I'm very, very excited about this one today. I always like talking about these records. That's why I do it. And as I said in the last one with Van Halen, I just did it a week ago, last week. I got that in May, but I didn't get around until talking about it until September. Now, this one I'm going to talk about Saigon Kick, their debut album. I only got this one a couple of days ago, and I couldn't wait any longer. This one I feel like I have to do right away. And I'm going to get to it right now. The first Saigon Kick album, I like it better than the first Van Halen record. If we're talking about debut albums, I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying that I like it more. I like it better than the first Van Halen. I like it better than Pearl Jam 10, and these are albums that I love. I don't think I like it better than Appetite for an Onion, but it's pretty close. This was one, and I remember this one came out in 1991. I was 21 years old. I remember it very well when I first heard this album, or heard of this album, heard of this band. And at that point in 1991, I was really, really into, I was for many, many years, and I was at my peak maybe around this time. I used to buy music magazines. She saw my picture in a music magazine. She met me, said she'd get me, touched her hips and told me that she'd let me. Forget about that. I was into music magazines, and I knew I was familiar with scenes and everything. And I never heard of Saigon Kick until one day. It was in March 1991. I'm going to say it's a Saturday. Who cares if it was or not, but I will say it was a Saturday. As far as my memory goes, it was a Saturday. And, there was much music. I lived in Toronto at the time, or in Toronto area. And this is turning on. That's how you turn on the TV. I turned on the TV and much music was on. And there were a couple of long-haired guys. And it turned out to be Jason Bieler and Matt Kramer from Saigon Kick. Jason Bieler, guitarist, and Matt Kramer, singer. Jason would go on to much, much more of a role in Saigon Kick. And they were on Much Music on a Saturday afternoon, I believe, promoting their show that night with Cheap Trick. They were going to play at Massey Hall. Cheap Trick was headlining. No, it was Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick and Saigon Kick was opening. And so Matt and Jason were on Much Music, and they did this interview, and I watched it. And then they played the video for What You Say, which is the second song on this record that I'm going to talk about shortly, or maybe not shortly. I'm in no hurry to get to this track by track, just because I want to talk about this album and this band. So I heard What You Say, saw the video, and I want to say immediately, and I still feel confident that it was immediately. I live walking distance to a mall. I walked to the mall. This is when you can find any record or any CD, 1991. They had everything in stock at that time. So I went to HMV. I bought the first Saigon Kick album, this record that I'm going to talk about. And, I thought What You Say was good. And I soon discovered that every song was as good as What You Say. This is really one of my favorite albums. And I can definitely make a strong case for Saigon Kick being one of my favorite bands. And here's the criteria. Since you asked, for me, favorite bands ever, some people like to say of all time, but we'll say favorite bands ever, or just favorite bands. There's no need to be dramatic. For me, they have to be ones that I discovered when I was very young, which is Kiss, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Motorhead. Those are my top four, I guess. Black Sabbath is really, really close to that group. Van Halen is close to that group. And then there was a later, let's say, collection of bands, Faith No More, Pearl Jam, Pantera, Goldfinger maybe, and Saigon Kick, who are on a different level. It's not that I like them less, it's just all those bands came along too late. I was 20 when I discovered Pantera, 21 Saigon Kick, 21, maybe 20 Pearl Jam, Mother Love Bone, 25 or 26 with Goldfinger. And, musically, I love all those bands. But anyway, so that's my criteria. But Saigon Kick, my God, their first four records, this one, and I'm not going to talk about their whole discography. I did that 3 years ago. This one, The Lizard, Water, Devil in the Details, each one got better and better, although I could make the case for this one even being the best. This is probably the most, no, I was going to say it's the most diverse. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll talk about that when I get to the track by track. But Saigon Kick was and is, because their music lives on, very, very unique. They didn't sound like anybody. They had, you know, some elements of, I guess most notably, Jane's Addiction. They didn't sound like them, but they did bring Jane's Addiction to mind when you listen to Saigon Kick. You know, and I will say also Jason Bieler, who on this album was guitarist. He wrote all the music, the whole album. I think he wrote the music. He wrote probably almost all the lyrics. I think Matt Kramer wrote lyrics for a couple of songs. Jason wrote or co-wrote the rest of them. There are 14 songs on this album. Jason is maybe my favorite musician ever. More than, forget about whoever you want to say that you might think of as my favorite musician. Jason Bieler might put all of them to bed. I mean, in terms of singing, guitarist, the songs that he writes, just that he's got so many different styles. So I'm a massive, massive Jason Bieler fan, all stemming from Saigon Kick. But this album is really, really varied, and it's a little bit, it's 14 songs, as I mentioned. It's fairly long. I would guess it's in the 49 to 53 range, maybe a little bit less than that if it's on a record. I assume this is a single record, which is pretty much the maximum. I've talked about this many times. That, you know, not at the time, but retrospectively, I guess. I like shorter albums. There's, you know, the Van Halen records and Kiss records were 30 to 32 to 35 minutes. Maybe my favorite album ever, Rain and Blood, is 28. All of the great AC/DC records were around 40. All the good Black Sabbath records were 40. So 50 in that neighborhood. It's a little bit long, but it doesn't feel like a long one. I think just because it's 14 songs. Some of the songs are short. I think there are a couple that are less than 2 minutes. No filler. Maybe I'll get to that as I continue. But there's so much variation on this record. There's so variety, I guess is the word. There's so much variety on this album. It's kind of a little bit metal. It's got maybe a tinge of punk. It's very melodic. It's got some, as I said, some maybe, I hate the term to describe music, but alternative flair to it. And Jason, I think he's got like the metal touch. He's got the you know, the shreddiness of, pick somebody, I don't know, Randy Rhoads, but the riffs of Dimebag, and I'm not saying he plays like Dimebag or Randy Rhoads, but just, you know, he's got it all, this guy, Jason Bieler. So that's what I think. This album is just amazing. Really, 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 I think was one of the early albums for me that kind of changed the way I looked at music, along with Jane's Addiction, maybe a little bit of Soundgarden too, that these bands were heavy, but not, I think I've mentioned this before, they were heavy, but they weren't heavy metal. They had the elements. Metal fans were going to like them for sure, but they didn't necessarily appeal to the, and also, man, they had, you know, kind of a weird, they toured with, as I said, Cheap Trick. They either toured or played shows, I think, locally with Ramones, Rat, who else? Later on the next album, on The Lizard, they toured with Extreme, Faith No More. So they, you know, they were very, they could, I guess, play with anybody, which, you know, kind of sucks because they never caught on. They were not specific enough for any one of those crowds. So I don't know. And a lot of people say that Saigon Kick should have been huge. I don't really understand what people mean when they say that. I guess they're saying, I like this band, so they should have been bigger. And I'm not saying that, but Saigon Kick, they maybe were just a hair too late. This first album came out in 1991, and by that point, and Saigon Kick, there's no way they're hair metal, despite the fact that they did have hair, even long hair. They weren't metal. They're not like Iron Maiden. They weren't quite, you know, the alternative people, as I said, kind of, you know, they didn't really fit a group, but should have been. And I think very highly regarded, Saigon Kick, but never really found their place. Came along a little bit too late, a little bit early for grunge, a little bit late for hair metal. You know, they just never quite fit in. But oh my God, I love this record. And I'm going to get to it right now. I'm going to open up, and I just got this, as I said, yesterday or 2 days ago, and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I had some circumstances today that allowed me to have time to talk about it, and I will trust that this is the record. Everybody maybe knows my Amazon issues. Those bastards have screwed me many times, but it does have, it does say Saigon Kick parentheses vinyl right there, and since I just got it this week, if it is not Saigon Kick, I'm still well within the 30-day window to return it. Shouldn't have to think about that, should I? So it's the classic frustration-free packaging. Now you know what? The reason I got this was I go through, I don't know, a couple times a year. I do this with a lot of bands. I always loved Saigon Kick, and I always love Motorhead and Black Sabbath, but sometimes you really, really feel it. And I was feeling Saigon Kick the other day, and I thought, I wonder if my favorite Saigon Kick record is Devil in the Details. Yeah, let's say that for today. And I looked for that, and it's not available, and I guess not available on vinyl, period. I asked Chris McClernand from Saigon Kick. He said, nope. He said, not available on vinyl. I guess Pony Canyon owns the rights to it, and because I think Water just came out earlier this year, and they did have Water on Amazon, but honestly I felt a little bit queer if I had ordered, and I think I would say I like Water than the debut, although the debut is so timeline. I've talked about this, it's hard to like something better than this just because this was the first one, but I think I do like Water, and Devil in the Details even more. But Water, it was a little bit expensive for one, and also I just felt queer buying the third of 4 classic albums. I either got to buy my favorite, Devil in the Details, or the first one. And this was actually the cheapest Saigon Kick record there was. Actually, this is not just that. This was the cheapest record ever that I bought in all of my recent... By the way, have you noticed my new piece of furniture to hold all my records? This is the cheapest one I've ever bought from Amazon, which is no indication of the quality of the music contained on the record. That's just the way it was. This was 20, I guess in US dollars, it was around 22, somewhere around there. So I couldn't resist the lure of a Saigon Kick record. And obviously I never had this on vinyl, because by 1991, I was 2 years into CDs. So this is me seeing the Saigon Kick record, not just this one, I've never seen a Saigon Kick record before. There it is. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oof. Oh, hype sticker. There it is, if you'd like to see. Feast your eyes upon it. And there's the back. Bare-chested fella. Not sure who that is. I'm not sure if it's somebody in the band. It could be Phil Verone. It's somebody with a nipple ring. I don't know. The hype sticker, it says they're rockin', terrible. Who writes this crap? Their rockin' 1991 debut includes, printed inner sleeve. Oh, Deep Purple vinyl pressing. I didn't know that. Limited to, oh my God, 2,000 copies. I had one of 2,000. Can you believe that? So there it is. This is Matt, Jason, Phil Verone, and Tom DeFile, original bassist. There it is. You know, I'm going to go take a picture of it and come right back, right? I'm going to open this up. This is the first Saigon Kick album, if you needed a reminder. So it's coming up now. I'm not sure what printed inner sleeve means. Does that mean it just has the lyrics, just like any, not any record, but a lot of records, instead of it being just a plain inner sleeve, it's got printing on it, it's got words? We're about to find out. Yeah, I can take this off. All right, there it is. If you want another look, there you go, a masterpiece. And let's see, yeah, I'm not sure why they need to point out that it's a printed inner sleeve. I like it, but I don't know why they're telling me. So just the lyrics and the liner notes. And this album was produced by Michael Wagner, who produced, what else did he produce? Dokken, I think, Tooth and Nail, Under Lock and Key, Back for the Attack, something like that. I think he also produced, did he produce Diary of a Madman? I'm not sure. Michael Wagner, I know he's a big name. I just can't think of. I'm unprepared is what I am. I should have known that. Oh, and the record. Oh, yeah. So it's deep purple colored. All right. It is indeed a deep purple colored record. Not a deep purple record. There it is. It's got that. You know what? This is the first time I've seen this. The Atlantic logo and all these records that I bought in the last however many months. None of them, I don't think, have had the Atlantic logo. They've been on Atlantic Records, but I haven't seen that. I haven't seen this for decades. What records did I have that had Atlantic? I think the Van Halen records. No, that was Warner. The classic Rat records had the that Atlantic label. So I'm gonna put this back now, and I'll go through it right now. Maybe if I can get this back in the printed inner jacket. Go through it track by track. The first track, some people call them songs. I will call it a track, at least for now. The first track is New World. We are the New World Love Clan. Oh, what a great opening song this is. It's got that kind of, it sounds, I don't know, like I don't know what is this kind of psychedelic. I don't know if it's a sitar or what it is. I could be really talking out of my ass. But it's got, the pounding drums coming in, that riff, that real just driving riff. Is this your world so far away? All that you know, all gone away. That's a very heavy song. And I think almost every song on this record, almost every one could be a favorite. There are maybe 2 or 3 that would not be in the running for favorite. Although I love them. And I mentioned earlier, I was going to talk a little bit about this. No filler on this record. And I know you're sick of hearing this, but I don't care. Filler is not a song that you don't like. Filler is instrumentals, interludes, intro music, something covers. I think covers are filler. This has nothing. And this is 14 songs, as I said, a little bit long, but it doesn't feel long. So that's New World. Next one is What You Say, the first Saigon Kick song I ever had. Also amongst my favorite, and this one really features Jason whoa, on the backing vocals. I'll always have a strong association with that because it was the first Saigon Kick song I ever heard. Next is What Do You Do? This one is very punky, I think, musically, and in terms of, it's real snotty. It's got a real attitude, this song. Heavy, energetic, and I don't think I mentioned, but I never saw Saigon Kick live. I remember them playing, the first time they played Toronto with Cheap Trick, I'd never heard of them, so that doesn't count. Then they played a year later with Extreme on the Lizard Tour, as I mentioned earlier. I didn't go to that. Then they played on the Water Tour in, I think it was October, I remember they played in October 92. Maybe they were headlining on the Lizard Tour, and then I think they played on Water, maybe in 93, October. As far as I remember them playing Toronto 3 times, one headlining, and I never went, and I really, really regret that now. But What Do You Do must have been a great, I can only surmise that it's a great live song because it's very angry, as a few songs are, very heavy, energetic. And by the way, if you like Saigon Kick and you like Saigon Kick live, I think I have the most extensive Saigon Kick video collection on my YouTube channel. If you put my name, Dan Delaney or Dan Bowski with Saigon Kick, you will find a trove, some might say a treasure trove, whatever that is, of Saigon Kick video, and I think a few rare tracks too, just audio. So What Do You Do? You look just like a whore in a church. I think I'm going to stay away from you. What do you do? What's it to you? How do you do? Well, I'm fine, thank you. What do you do? Well, I do what I do, and that's what I will do. Amazing song. Love that one too. Three winners so far. Next is Susie. Susie had a dream of what she could not tell. She only guaranteed it would take her straight to hell. Sunday was the day that we prayed up to the sky. Sunday was the day that we prayed up to the sky. Doesn't change the fact that we all will die. That we soon will die. Can't remember, but that's a great one too. That's got a little bit of a groove to it. Heavy song also. Next is Colors, a little bit psychedelic. This one, there's a great acoustic version of Colors on Saigon Kick, had a record called Moments from the Fringe that came out in 1998 or 99. there was kind of like a collection of B-sides and demos and unreleased stuff. And I would put that up against anything Saigon, because then their B-sides are amazing. But you can find that Colors. It's kind of a little bit of a lighter, as I said, psychedelic song. Love Colors too. The next one, this is my favorite song on this album, and this is Coming Home. Oh my God. And there are a few, as I mentioned, that could be a favorite, but I think I've always gone back to Coming Home. It starts, you know, it's got that, and it just comes in, it's crunchy, and it's just this stomping, just a real heavy song. You fall in love with the lust, you fall in love with sex, you fall in love with the faith in, and I can't do the next part. Flying high to paper skies, soaring through the heavens of shame, finding now I never left the ground, finding now I never left the ground, only how the scars remain the same. Well, I'm coming home, oh, coming home. Yeah, my favorite song is Coming Home. Next is that's Love of God. That's my really weak bass singing. This is a very not happy song. It's very bright sounding. I think there's some. It's a maybe like a acoustic electric. I'm not sure. Maybe like "Come On and Love Me" with Kiss, the studio version. If you listen closely, you can hear some acoustic. Maybe you don't have to listen closely. But Love of God, that's a very kind of upbeat. For the love of God, shining through, feeling all your pain for the love of God. Ooh, side B, now I don't know these by side, but because this is the first time I've had this record. Down by the ocean where the little girls play. Down by the ocean where the little girls play. Down by the ocean where the little girls play. Sweet Larissa wants candy, Johnny wants her to stay. Sweet Larissa wants Johnny, but Johnny thinks he's gay. This song is great, but it's totally woke. And I know why. It's because, I mean, it shouldn't be. This band is from Florida. And from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, Florida is where woke goes to die. But they're singing about gay people. So this song is totally woke. But I love Down by the Ocean. Another contender for a top song. Acid Rain. This is a really short one, maybe a minute and a half, I think. Rain, Rain, Acid Rain, Don't Come Back for Another Day. Good, again, driving riff on that one. My Life, totally different. This totally changes the tone of the record here. This is a very, very happy, bouncy, kazoo-laden song. Very Beatles-esque or Beatles-y. Mother said she was the only one. And even if she was the only one, I find her so confusing yet today. And then the chorus comes in. I think Jeff Scott Soto sings on My Life. Huge soaring choruses. Even if you walked 1,000 miles, I'll be with you tonight. Even if you told 1,000 lies, I'd still believe you. Even if you walked across the skies, I'll be with you tonight. Even if you told 1,000 lies, I'd still believe you. All alone along the sea, I dream of you. You know, I need you here with me. The emptiness inside my heart. You're an angel well within my sights. Very, very happy, light, fun. Just a really, really nice song. That one is My Life. Another contender for favorite. I'm not sure if these are in order on the sleeve, but I think Month of Sundays is next. This is a heavy one. The next two are heavy. Month of Sundays is I guess a serial killer song. Charlie, Ted, and the son of Sam, they all ate green eggs and ham. I saw God and he said to me, take a family of 4 and make it 3. Charlie, Ted, and the son of Sam, they all ate green eggs and ham. Heavy song, lyrically and musically. Love that one too. Ugly, another heavy one. And something that always bugged me about this, is it? Yeah, it is this one. Towards the end, there's a weird thing. It sounds like it was censored. He says, Matt Kramer sings, so in ugly, and it sounds like they're bleeping the F word. Ooh, they don't want to say that, and that always bugged me. Not sure why that is. And there was another record or another song that also had that. I have no idea what it was, but yeah, ugly is a great one too. I know I keep saying it again, but it's true. Come Take Me Now, Lord, Come Take Me Now. This is ballad adjacent. This one is. This is a kind of a softer song. Like this one a lot too. And I See You and Starlight is the last song. It's very clever. If you notice, they put the letters I See You, but it's actually I See You. Huh? Pretty good. These are smart guys. Look at that. If they look like this, they must be smart. So I See You and Starlight. That's a good way to end the album. It's kind of a rocker. That's it. And I wish I could talk about this album again. I'm sure you're happy that I'm not going to, but my God, I love this record. Love it, love it. I love all the Saigon Kick records, but this one always will have a special place for me. That's it for the very first Saigon Kick record.